or in plain and good old English, good evening everyone and welcome along to PSGL. We are here for F3. It is season number 30, round number 9, round number 7 in fact of the championship. No, it's round number 9 actually of the championship, as we take it of course the Dutch Grand Prix from the Zandvoort International Circuit. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream as always, and joining me in the comment box, he is back. It is Mr. Otaku Logan. Logan, how you doing?
Guten Abend, James. Who got hit?
Don't know what that means. I don't have much Dutch.
It means good evening, James. How are you?
I'm doing really well and good plain old English. How are you?
Yeah, I was getting Dutch lessons from Olav Mol, who used to do the commentary for Formula 1, so there you go. Yeah, I'm doing brilliant. Long 13 days away, but we are back in fantastic fashion here in the Netherlands, as I've just explained, or the Kingdom of the Netherlands, technically. That's not just the Netherlands. It's not called Holland. We don't call us Holland anymore. It's just one part of the country. There's, of course, the Caribbean islands. Some of the Caribbean islands are part of the Dutch Kingdom. So there's your fun fact of the day for you.
Fun fact of the day indeed, which I'm sure everyone will now take in, which is very good. But what I think we'll have to take in a little bit further is how many drivers we have actually lost since the mid-season break, obviously going into the Netherlands here tonight. Matthew and Cameron Dowd, who were first and second in the championship, they have both been promoted to F2, so congratulations to both of them. I think they're going to do a really good job, I've got to say, in F2.
Going up, as I really are going up.
And Izza, who was third in the championship as well, he has also left the league because of multiple lag warnings. He's had 2 lag warnings, I think, and therefore that is a league ban. So Izza, sadly, not going to be partaking in F3 for the rest of the season either, which is unfortunate, but means Will Murdoch is technically in the lead of the championship. I'll go through the full standings in total. Matthew leading the way on 79 points. Cameron Dowd's in second on 56. Izza in third on 40. I've already explained, of course, with the top 3. Will Murdoch there in fourth on 38 points. Joey's only a point behind him in fifth on 37. Then it's Nuth in sixth on 34 for the 3 points behind. Menno in eighth on 33. Then it's Ron in ninth on 24, along with DV19, who's also actually left. He is also on 24 points as well, if I'm not mistaken. I've just read that out wrong, I think. Menno and Ron are on 24, DV19 on 23. Knew I missed a step somewhere. And we've obviously got Maras, Marcadoza, Roca, Trinity, Cortez ran off the top 15. Patuxai also leaving the league as well. He's there in 11th position. And then we've got Denzel Marlon, Dutch Missile Lewis, who round out the points along with Dan Spreen, Isu, Rexnig and Julian. And they have all scored points so far this season. Maledictus, Karem and Namsko haven't. And obviously they are the reserves who have left the league already. And Logan obviously coming in tonight in the Netherlands. We saw Matthew take the win last time out in Belgium. But Matthew, Cameron Dowd, Izza, all gone. I think it's now wide open.
Wide open is an understatement. There are 4 drivers in the 30s and they're only 5 points apart. Will Murdoch, Joey, Nuff and Rudy all in contention right now, but don't rule out anyone else such as Ron Zeus. And is DV19 still in the league?
DV19, I believe, has moved to PC, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah, okay, so in fact, any of those drivers below them that have got at least about 14 or 15 points, they could be in for a shout of winning this championship. It's pretty much a great reset here. These next 7 rounds are going to be the most crucial of these drivers' league racing careers. For goodness sake, I'm almost out of breath.
Definitely so. I think obviously Will Murdoch now technically leading the championship. As I say, he's only a point clear of his teammate there, Joey, who has also had some very consistent results. Will Murdoch, by the way, has picked up 3 podiums this season. Joey has also picked up 2 podiums this season. 2 third places for him, 3 second places even for Will. But in terms of the drivers that we have got actually promoted and a few reserves that have been promoted here as well, I spy with Marlet's Sly, Ference and Funky Chicken, who has joined F3 here tonight at least. Funky Chicken in the Alfa Romeo was full-time. Ference also full-time now in the Haas. I have had a lot of experience commentating on both of them, and I can tell you that Ferenc has recently came from ABS and dominating the TTML F2 Championship, and then he's transitioned over to No Assist and to Wheel in the last 2 months or so. So Ferenc has got a really good chance, I think, obviously, to try and make an impact here tonight in Hungary. And Funky Chicken as well. Well, he is a Funky Chicken, first and foremost, and he's also a very good driver in the Alfa Romeo. And he, I think, is going to be one to watch out for, of course, representing Team Relentless. I commentate on him in TTML F1 on a Sunday night as well. And Funky Chicken is a very, very consistent driver and always scores good points. And I think F3 for both of them is their home tonight.
Oh my. Ferenc used to be on assist, and I'm still here on brake assist and auto drive. I can't believe it. Yeah, it's great to see some new blood in this even late in the season. Well, I say late in the season. It's midway through the season. You know, it just adds some extra flavour. And look, we've got some extra drivers in. I do believe Cortez has joined us along with
Joey.
Joey, yes, Joey has made his way in at the last moment. So we are finally, after 7 minutes of deliberating, gonna get out on the track here in the Dutch seaside.
The Dutch seaside, of course, beside the nudist beach, of course, that David Coulthard and that famous photo came about with last year. Don't want to go back on that, and certainly don't want to get that into people's thoughts either. But there we are.
I still have it in my mind all this time, and I think about it every night.
If you think about it every night, then there's something wrong with you. I'll just say that for now. But obviously, constructor standings as well coming into tonight. Mercedes leading the way on 77 points. Alpine in second on 75. I haven't got the standings properly up. For Ferrari in third on 59. Aston Martin fourth on 55. Williams in fifth on 49. Red Bull in sixth on 48, along with Haas also on the same amount of points on 48. McLaren in eighth on 33. AlphaTauri in ninth on 24, along with Alfa Romeo also tied on the same amount of points in 24 points. Obviously, we've lost Mathieu. Cortez obviously representing the Mercedes team. Alpine's both here, Will Murdoch and Joey. This should be Alpine's open goal, I think, to take the Constructors' Championship lead.
Yes, I've not actually got the Constructors' Championship. I always neglect the Constructors' Championship because, well, it's important in the real F1 because, of course, there's a lot of money on the line, but it's like zero fruit. But it's just a nice little extra token to have if you have it. But yes, Alpine pretty much without Mathieu. Mercedes I think might struggle. Cortez hasn't really put in much of the performance. It's mainly been a one-sided affair in the teammate battle, and of course Dan Spreen has been lacking at Ferrari as well, no offense, and Izzat being out of the league. This is Alpine's dream scenario. Alpine. And we've got all the all the drivers going onto the tracks right now. I do believe Lewis has just come out the pits as I'm on with him right now. It's a bit of doomy and gloomy out there. Are we going to see some rain? Maybe? Or are they just going to clear up?
No, I don't think we will. I've seen conditions like this before around this track, and honestly, within around halfway through qualifying, we should see full blue skies and sunshine, I think. I will correct myself, however, if that doesn't happen. Nuth, though, is the first man out on track. The German, of course, who has been scoring quite well in terms of his points. We've already had a spinner, by the way, coming through turn number 7 at Skyflak. Yes, I do know some of the corner names around here, so Dutchies, be aware. I'm going to try and pronounce as best as I can. If not, don't ask me in the comment section, please, because I'm just a northerner from England, of course. But Nuth coming through the final couple of corners, in towards turn 13 and then in towards turn 14 at Ari Lundijk. Of course, the banking reprofiled around about 30%, I think, the changing actually in the banking from the 1980s, the mid-1980s, of course, when this last race was actually held. Nuth, though, coming down in towards turn number 1 at Tarzan corner, and then coming through, of course, the left-handed kink of turn number 2, then to the right-hander of turn number 3, and then into the banking, the second part of the banking, coming through turn number 4, and then on the run up the hill, in towards turn number 5, 6, and then in towards the fearsome Skyflak corner at turn number 7 at the end of the first sector. 24.5 from Nuth. Not bad, actually, on a set of mediums. On that, as he catches the curve coming through Skyflak, and that is why you have to watch out for the curve coming through Skyflak, and Nuth has gone off into the gravel, and it's almost like he's been going for a bit of lawn mowing now as well.
Yes, he has. Unfortunately, at least he's kept it out of the walls. Well, he grazed the walls, but at least he didn't get any damage of note. We are on board with Ronzus right now, coming around. I forgot what the name of that turn was, but oh well. I have neglected the little map as I keep searching up about random things. As we go around turn number 12 right now, 2 more turns after this. Of course, the final turn being the famed Iron block, which was not seen when Zandvoort was around in 1985. There was no such thing. It was a much bigger place. I think it was replaced by Caravan Park now, the old track, as Ronzus crossed the line of 1:11.036, but we're on medium tyres. I'm sure that's going to be beaten. Trinity fails to top that, and as we see, Lewis also failing to top it too. We have the Dutch Missile. No, that's not the Dutch Missile. That's Marlin, who's about to start a lap, and Resnick as well. And as I say that, Julian goes up to the top for 1:10.321. Good luck on medium tyres. I think you may have to go again, just sit in the banker here.
Yeah, Hyper's coming around the final corner as well. Out of Ariel Lundijk comes to the line. 1:10.999. He goes fourth. Good lap there, actually, by the Ferrari. As Will Murdoch goes even quicker, 10.7. So we now begin to see the sort of lap times I was expecting to see. We will see a 1:09. I think a 1:09.5 possibly in qualifying. We should see that sort of lap time, I think, here tonight. But from these F3 guys, as Rudy just comes in with the 1:10 flat, so we're already 5/10 off that. Rudy out on top. This is his chance now, I think. He's been quite consistent in recent weeks, quite consistent in terms of his point scoring. However, he has had that really, really wretched look, I've got to say, even in other leagues. Rudy has had really bad luck, I've got to say, in league racing recently. This is his chance, though, with the likes of Cameron gone, with the likes of Matthew gone. He was up there, of course, in terms of Matthew and Cameron Dowd a couple of weeks ago in Austria, so Rudy should really be the favourite coming into tonight.
Yes, he should be. It would be fantastic to see him get a home win at Zandvoort. I've had some commentary experience with him on the track. Unfortunately, yeah, he has had bad luck. I have to take your word for it, and especially in Bahrain. I think it was in the other league, WR. I may be wrong. As I try to find the clip of it, because I have vivid memories of this, because life has to go on. I know Rudy wasn't actually in that at all. I think I was thinking of the wrong league. It might have been PSGL. I think it might have been Belgium. Maybe not. Yes, as you know, because of day-to-day life, I rarely remember these things. So
I know Rudy, speaking about Belgium, I commentated around Sunday at TT Malafon, and Rudy had an incident with Carlsbury. Carlsbury, of course, also PSGL drivers. Dutch Missile, by the way, goes second, 1:10.1, and caught the end of his lap there. Looked very clean, I've got to say. It was a purple middle sector from him as well, through the middle sector, so 1:10.1 puts him into second, and that was on multiple runs, so we haven't seen that much from drivers so far in this qualifying session. But just come back to the point I was going to go on about, Rudy, Sunday, he had a collision with Carlsbury coming through a Rouge and Radion, and again, he was unlucky. Still finished in the podiums, though, so his form has been getting a little bit better, but with that on his mind, hopefully tonight will be the case of he just puts that to one side. This is a totally different league, totally different performance, and he's currently out on top by 1/10.5.
Yes, I should also mention Rudy has the longest points scoring streak if you discount all the drivers that have just left the league. He's 4 consecutive points finishes. He got an 8th in Hungary, a 7th in Austria, a 9th in Saudi Arabia, and a 4th in Belgium. So he's very consistent, Rudy. I hope we can see his full potential, though, as we did in the first round in Portugal, but that was, of course, tainted by the fact Cameron Dowd glitched everywhere and was handed the win incorrectly, which we thought he won, but we realised, oh, it was broken. Oh well, back to you.
Lewis on the run down and towards turn number 1 now, and a set of soft compound tyres. Normally around this track you see anywhere between 0.8 and a second improvement. Normally it's a little bit less than that, though, around the track like this, and especially with the conditions as we've got out in qualifying. Lewis Lowe coming through turn number 4, on the run up towards Skyflack, of course, at turn number 7, and of course he flies through the little left-hander, then through the right-hander of turn 6, negotiates out really well, and he's 4 times up through the first sector, 24.4, and gets caught on the curve again, nearly spinning the car, but now coming through in towards turn number 8, and then through 9, and then towards the right-hander of turn number... no, this is turn number 9, then turn number 10. I'm miscounting corners as we go along. Lewis, though, in towards turn number 10. He just looks like he's a little bit snappy in terms of that oversteer. And again, you see it coming out of turn number 10. On the run up towards 11 and 12, 48.9. So he's sub-sector, basically. Sub-49 through the middle sector, which is not too bad. But Lewis should be, I think, towards the likes of Joey, to the likes of Cortez. I think he'll go in and around that, as long as he doesn't invalidate here. Oh, he literally ran that so far wide, I thought that was invalidated. But Lewis around the final corner, on the run to the line, and he goes 10th as a result of that, and I'm not surprised he went 10th as a result, but he improved by around 7/10 per second, and that is the first, say competitive lap, as Ron actually goes, I think, 4th, so good lap time from him, as Nuth goes quickest, 1:09 flat, and 1:09.9 even from Nuth. Joey's out there on the lap as well, he's through the middle sector, and he's 3.5 tenths up with a purple middle sector, so we'll see what the Brit can do, coming through turn number 11 and 12, and then of course in towards Ari Lundijk in, and Ari Lundijk out, or Ari Lundijk boxed, through 13 and 14. Joey very nicely negotiated. This is going to be provisional pole, I have a feeling about it. Joey ran the final corner, on the run start. There should be provisional pole. It's not provisional pole, and I made him look like an absolute fool there by saying that.
Yeah. Oh, Dan Spreen has had a crash, and there's been another spinner as well. I think that's out of turn number 9.
Ron, I think going slow.
Dan Spreen who is out of qualifying. He will not be getting a better time than 1:11.117. That's one thing for sure. Well, he's got off the map now. I can't check what's happened. What's just happened?
Will Murdoch has just got a right snap of oversteer coming out of turn 13. He's coming back into the paper. I don't blame him after that. But if he went any further right, he would have been in the wall. Really good recovery of that. Kept the car going, kept the car just about in a straight line. There was another spinner, by the way, in the middle sector coming through turn number 9. I wonder if that is Joey going a little bit slow, coming through that section of the track. Yeah, it's just Joey getting out of the way of the McLaren. I think of Marlon. That is just ahead of him out on track. That is Marlon. That is ahead of him out on track. Rudy, by the way, though, 48.5 in the middle sector. The Dutchman, of course, the home boy, in between the home crowd, of course. He should be towards the top end of the field here. He should go quickest with this lap. Nearly invalidates, coming out the final corner, and now the Dutchman on the run to the line. It should be a 1:09.7, I think, this lap. Really towards the line, and he may as well put the National Lottery on once again, because 1:09.7 it is.
I mean, they don't broadcast National Lottery anymore. I don't think they've been doing it ever since it went off the BBC and went to ITV. Which is quite a shame because it was overhyped as hell in the 90s. Just for like 2 minutes, they had a whole show on it. It was crazy. I think it was Anthea Turner hosting it and all.
Ooh.
It was, yeah, in the 90s. What's happened?
Julian Purple in the middle sector is what has happened. He's 4.5 tenths up through the middle sector, coming in towards Ari Lundijk at 13 and 14. Negotiates the curb really well, I've got to say. And now the Mercedes, of course, full time now in the Mercedes, replacing Mathieu. Julian on the run to the line. He might go quicker than Rudy here to the line. He doesn't. He goes second, but a good lap time nonetheless. He looked like he was really quick there. Of course, wasn't the Ferrari as a reserve, but Julian now 1:09.8, and he's roughly a tenth of a second off the back of Rudy, with around, I think, 7 minutes to go.
I've got my eyes on the Dutch missile, who I'd like to apologise for calling him an intercontinental ballistic missile 2 weeks ago in Belgium. Yes, I did call him that.
And that's a quick first sector, actually.
Yeah, it is a quick first sector. 27, what was it, 27 something, it flashed on my screen, but you know.
24.3.
Oh yeah, thank you. Oh yeah, the race director exists for that reason. 4 corners to go for Dutch Missile, making long way in this bendy straight, as I call it. And into 11 and 12. Massive stadium section. It feels like you're doing this fall sorrow, but in Dutch. Well, Murdoch lets him by, obviously. He's been doing that a couple of times. A very gentlemanly driver, and he goes right on the edge. Legal, very legal. He had all 4 wheels on the track, so we'll cross the line with the third best time so far, 1:09.928, provisional third place for Dutch Missile, but it ain't over yet. There is 6 minutes and 13 seconds in this session, and counting, James.
There is indeed. Funky Chicken, by the way, went 10th on its debut, of course, 1:10.2 on that sort of soft compound tyres. Cortez is up through the first sector, 24.4. Not as quick as what we've seen from Rudy and Julian, but with 2/3 of qualifying gone, Cortez coming toward the end of his lap. He's a 10.5 up again through the middle sector, as the cloud still building over the circuit, obviously. It hasn't really impacted on the track surface so far, which is really good, as now Cortez now comes through. Ari Lundijk at 13, 14... just about. Keeps it in the straight line and keeps it valid. He's in the wall. Oh my goodness me! I think that's that was synchronised coming through there from our reactions. Cortez, though, in the wall, he lost his right side end plate coming out the final corner. I do not know how he didn't take off a wheel there. That's unbelievable.
How he's kept all 4 wheels on his car is beyond me, as I see Joey going on his out lap. 5 minutes and some left in the session. 5 minutes and 12 seconds coming around. Tarzan. Oh! Around the first turn. As I do believe Will Murdoch goes up into 4th. I'm sorry I had to do that. 5 minutes exactly to go. Yeah, I know.
It's looking quick.
For a reason. Ronzi's going 7th. And Noof, I completely neglected, I'm sorry, goes 2nd with a 109.773. He's just 38 pounds shy of provisional pole position. Who is approaching the finish line? It is Ference on his lap. I think he's backed off. He's going to go again, or no, he has no fuel. He'll have to come in.
Yeah, he'll come in. Yeah, 4 minutes to go. I don't blame him for coming in, to be honest. He's got plenty of time still to get, I would say, 2, maybe even 3 runs if he comes out with around 3 minutes to go. Joey, though, is 2.5 tenths up through the middle sector, so we'll see what Joey is doing, obviously, in the Alpine. Of course, leading pretty much the constructor standings. They're second, obviously, coming into tonight, 2 points behind Mercedes, and Joey, obviously, is actually second in the championship, technically, even though Matthew's still out on top, and Joey actually goes third, 109.7. Really good lap times being shown. However, I obviously commentated around here on Saturday in LOE in the Netherlands, and we saw lap times from one relentless Nathan. A 109.1 was the lap time.
Yikes!
109.1, yeah.
What's
Unbelievable.
The world record in qualifying? If we're not talking time trials, that's insane.
Absolutely unbelievable lap. Luckily, though, Nathan is not here. He has got the relentless teammate, obviously, of Funky Chicken in the lobby, obviously, for F3. By the way, good evening to everyone. I'm not neglecting you at all in the comment section. Good evening to McCall. I'm sure he is supporting Rexnig. Of course, he's down there in 14th at the minute. Fleddy also in the comment section saying hello. Good evening to you, Fleddy, and good evening to Enzo Ricardo, of course, who I had the privilege of commentating on Wednesday in EML F1. Hope you are doing well, my friend, as well. As good to see, obviously, some reaction. I do miss, though, Cameron's dad in the comment section.
Yes, by the way, Enzo Ricardo, if you know James this well, how well is he handling my torturous voice? I know.
I think it's actually his first time, I think, in the comment section here in F3, if I'm not mistaken. He's probably just seen, oh yeah, that James guy is very good in commentary. I'm going to follow him everywhere I go. And he's literally followed me on every single stream this week, which is really nice.
Oh, Trinity spun. Sorry to cut you off there, but Trinity was on a lap. But at turn 10, he lost it around, I think he must have clipped the curb. You clip the curb, your chances of spinning are pretty much at least 60%. I'm no boffin calculating probability, but yeah, don't touch that curb. Final laps being set by our drivers now with 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Some out coming early. I think they're just fearing a possibility of rain late in the session. They don't want to be cut off by the rain, so I don't blame them. Of course, it is their choice to go out, but that means the track will be not as grippy as it should be, because of course, as the more time you have on track, the track gets grippier and grippier, and the lap times go down and down, and that's what we want to see from these drivers. We want to see them to get as fast as possible. Dutch Messiah on his lap, wow, throwing it out of Tarzan like Tarzan would himself, and coming through the turn number 3, which really should be turn number 4, but they miss out one. I think that's the one before the turn 2 on the track map, which is the other banked corner, which nobody talks about, which is a shame.
Ooh. Down on his lap time, Dutch Missile, 610. I was on board with Marlon, though. Marlon's further on his lap, but he's a 10.5 up through the middle sector. So we'll see now coming through. Oh, as he snaps it, coming out of turn number 12. Nearly spun the car around. Keeps the car going in a straight line, though. Marlon's coming through the final corner with around 2 minutes to go in the session. Really still out on top. Newton second, Joey in third, but it's really close in terms of the top 4. Marlon, I think, is going to add his name to that list. He goes, 110 flat completely. 110 flat for Marlon. Goes 7th, ahead of Ron, who was just starting up on his lap, and Dutch Missiles Rudy goes even quickest, 109.5, and as I said earlier on, you may as well put the National Lottery on, because that's another prediction I've got so far right tonight.
Well, I wouldn't put it on because there's no draws on, well, they're set for life, but there's no lotto on Monday, no Euro Millions on Monday, so why bother? I'd rather just win £100 million than, like, £50 in a week or something,
Ooh.
whatever it is. But Julian coming around the final corner now as we saw something, and the yellow flag, ignore that.
Now
as Julian goes up 4th.
Yeah,
actually,
it was Fevens. Yeah, Fevens went 5th, 109.8. That's what I was reacting to there. It was a good lap, and he's showing some good pace, I've got to say. Obviously now, transitioning to no assist and being on the wheel, and that's really good to see. Obviously, I commend any sort of driver doing that. I'm not sure who was furthest on the lap, actually. Trying to flick through quickly. Oh, as Marlon has spun on the curb, coming through turn number 10 as I flick through. So that is his qualifying session done. I think we see Ron going up to 6th, so good lap there from him. Will Murdoch as well, I think, has just started up on another lap, if I'm not mistaken. He's coming in towards Skyflack.
Funky Chicken crossed the line just too little too late. And unfortunately... Oh, Knuff has 14 pounds out. Cortez has crashed. Funky Chicken didn't cross the line in time, so that's his session over. Hyper does not improve. He stays in 11th and will be the leader in terms of the alternate strategy, if they opt to take it. And Dutch Missile coming around the final corner right now. He is actually backed off. Julian has also backed off. Who hasn't backed off?
Will Murdoch. Will Murdoch, oh, and he's just invalidated as soon as I say that, coming out of turn 13 at Amy Lundijk. So frustrating, Will Murdoch. Goodness me, he was going to improve, I think, to the line. Yeah, he would have went a 109.7 and would have put him into 4th with that lap time coming out the final corner. Rexnig is not on the lap. Lewis is not on the lap either. He's invalidated. That's the end of qualifying. And it's Rudy out on top, 109.5. Newt there in second, 109.6. As you said, 14 hundredths of a second separating first and second. And then a chasm of a gap for a track like this, a chasm of a gap between Newt and Joey, around a 10th and 3/4 between them both. So the top three separated in the end by 0.2 of a second. Rudy though out on top, Newt in second, Joey in third, and Rudy, because you've got no Matthew, no Cameron Dowds and the likes here tonight, that means Rudy is on pole position, and as I said, it's an open goal for him to try and obviously get up the field and try and win the championship.
Yes, indeed, and the crowd going absolutely nuts. You can't really see it because this is a video game, but I bet you if it was real life, they would be partying and drinking 10 Heineken bottles. Oh, we've just product placement, sorry. All night, they'd be up all night just looking forward to the race tomorrow, or should I say in about 5 minutes in terms of this game. But yeah, Rudy on pole, great height for the Dutch home crowd. But of course, is he Nuff German?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Yes. So the Germans want to spoil the party and maybe put 7 in the net like they did in Brazil. Sorry to our Brazilian followers if you were offended by that, but it is sport in the end of the day. Why get offended over sport? On to you, James.
Michael Martin in the comment section, by the way, saying, I always follow you guys. Come on, love the commentary when Cameron won on the wet. Awesome job, which is really appreciated. Hopefully he's not the Speaker of the House back in the day, in the mid-2000s, who obviously had that little bit of a, what was it, a tax row. Anyways, Rudy's out on top, Ruth in second, Joey in third, Julian in fourth, Ferenc in fifth, Rod in sixth, Dutch Missile there in seventh, Will Murdoch in eighth. Interesting, I'm going to watch out for him, I think, in the race, because he's got better pace in the race than he has in qualifying. Marlon there in ninth, of course, was on the podium a couple of weeks ago in Saudi Arabia. Trinity in 10th, Hyper there in 11th, Funky Chicken on debut there in 12th, Cortez 13th, Rexig 14th, Lewis 15th, and Dan Spring didn't get a representative lap time in at all, 111.1. He's a second and a half off the pace and around a second covering the top 14, but it's really out on top. Newton second, Joey in third. Looking through the field though, I'm immediately looking, as I say, Will Murdoch in eighth, but good job actually by Ferenc, who's actually better at best out of our new drivers. Obviously only 2 here tonight in terms of him and Funky Chicken. Ferenc though in 5th, Funky Chicken in 12th. Relatively good performances from both.
Yes, I'd have to say for their first time in F3, of course, some drivers have been from like the back of the field in this division and then still find a way to win in later series. It is still a bit cloudy here. See a couple of raincoats out. They're thinking, oh, it might be raining, might be raining. So, you know, very interesting, but we'll have to see what happens. As you can see very faintly on this far right of the screen, some of the drivers already on the grid. I do not know how the hell they're getting set up without the mechanics there, but yeah, we need a bit of realism in this game. Codemasters, come on, where are you? Let's be having you, as that lady who owned Norwich once said.
Delia Smith.
Oh yeah, Daly Smith. I keep forgetting names. I get her confused with Nigella Lawson for some reason.
Oh, they're both chefs. They're both chefs. That's the thing. Everyone, by the way, coming in saying Enzo really enjoys James's commentary skills. He's a legend. What about Logan? Come on, give some love for Logan as well.
He hates me.
Does he?
He hates Scotsman. Yeah, everyone hates Scotsman.
I don't think he does. I don't think. I'm sure there is some love there, honestly. There is some love there, honestly. We better get going for the formation lap, though, here, of course, in PSGL F3. Of course, share the stream out. We haven't got as many followers as what we normally do. It's probably because Cameron Dowd has now got up to F2. That's probably the reason why, and Cameron's dad has got so much following. He's now over there as well in F2. But anyways, here in F3, now the formation lap is on, and immediately it screams out to me that we're going to be getting a dry race, because looking at the tyre compounds, the top 10 obviously on that set of soft compound tyre. Everyone else, bar Rexney, who's quite interesting there in 14th in the Red Bull, he's on the set of soft compound tyres. Everyone else further down the field on the set of mediums. This should be, really, Logan, an easy one-stop, but can't rule out safety cars around here.
Of course, safety cars are abundant here. I remember the first commentary I ever did was here in the Netherlands in a community league, and it was 5 safety cars, so it can really twist up the game every few laps and it cause a great reset. So they're going to keep watching for that. I see Resnick has decided to stay on softs. A wise move, being down in 14. What? What's so funny about 5 safety cars? It ruins the flow.
No, 5 safety cars. I've had a Belgium before, around in commentary in TTML F5 on the last game, and that was terrible. But in the meantime, Freddy, that's the comment I was actually laughing at. Logan did a Tarzan impression that ruined his ears. There you go.
Well, maybe I should put a headphone warning next time.
I think we should put a headphone warning on every single stream. I think we do even PSGL F3. But anyways, 36 laps of course awaiting the drivers around, of course, the 4.3 kilometre circuit at Zandvoort. And I'm immediately looking forward to Rudy Nuth doing battle down and towards turn number 1. Of course, the outside line is going to be absolutely key around this track. You will get the traction on the outside of the corner through turn number 1. So I wouldn't be surprised if Rudy held the lead. Nuth on the inside line. Hopefully he doesn't pick up any dirt on those tyres, because otherwise it's going to be a little bit squirrely off the line. He could perhaps lose the position to Joey. However, though, Logan, I'm going to come across to you. Who's your top 3?
Oh, don't ask. It's been 2 weeks away. I forgot what happened. Well, I know Cameron Dowds, Matthew and Izza are here. It's again, you said it's an open goal. It could be anyone's race tonight. I probably can see enough spawn in the party beer, but you never know. Here we go.
Here we go, Father of Lights coming out here in Zandvoort for round number 9 even in the championship here in PSGL F3, and it's lights out and away we go. And actually Nuth gets a better start than Rudy, but the second phase of the start is cleaner, and Joey's going to look to loop it around the outside and towards turn number 1 at Tarzan, and he tries to go through the middle of them both, but Rudy holds the lead on the outside traction. A little bit of contact actually between Nuth and Joey actually gets up into P2. Nuth fighting very hard indeed. There's a little bit of contact between them both. Now 3 wide into the banking. Ferrens tries to go all around the outside of everyone, with Ron and Julian also going side by side. McLaren of Marlon getting sideways there, coming out of the banking, but now up the hill, in towards Skyflack at turn 7. Julian and Ron are going side by side, and Julian just about gets the move done, I think, down the inside line, but there's Ferrens! Ferrens gets the move done on both of them! Brilliant move by Ferrens, absolutely keyed off that, and everyone is just all over the place, and the Mercedes got off wide, that's Julian dropping down the field, but Ferrens on fire, he is Thunies into 4th, great move by him. Rudy leads the way though, Joey in 2nd, Nuth in 3rd, the front 2 have pulled away 1.3 seconds, and now Ferrens is going side by side with Nuth, who I think might have a little bit of damage after that turn 1 contact with Joey. He looks like he's struggling, certainly on the left side end plate. Will Murdoch on the back of him, Dutch Missile there in 6th as well, but everyone now is just hoping and praying that Rudy and Joey fall off the cliff in terms of their tyres, because they're 1.5 seconds clear of the rest of the field. Rudy leads the way, Joey in 2nd, Ferrens in 3rd, Will Murdoch is right on the back of Nuth. He does come into pit and after damage.
Yeah, it looks like he has damage, and he's coming into the pit, and there's a big crash! There's a crash at the last corner. Dan Spreen and Lewis involved just before the pit lane, and I think Dan Spreen has cut the right line, and considering the circumstances, I don't know if he'll be investigated for that, because of course he'd just been in an incident and they're pitting him. I completely missed it because I was focusing, and Dan Spreen's given up already. He's had enough at his home race. It has just not been a night for Dan Spreen. He crashed out in qualifying, and he's crashed out here again. It's just not been his night, James.
Yeah, not being as not at all. I've got to say, the first lap, though, was a bit like bumper cars and a bit like dodgems, I think, what you see at the amusement park. But there we are, Julian on the back of Dutch Missile, 5th and 6th position. Of course, stewards will have a look at that. Julian's very slow off the corner, Ron on the back of him, and in the meantime, Trinity's going around the outside and towards turn 11. Morlon completely locks up in terms of the brakes, but actually gets the move done and gets the car stopped, and he's through there. He's into 8th, of course, Morlon, formerly of QRT, now of VAR, so he has actually changed teams in the mid-season break as well. Rudy, though, leading the way, Joey in 2nd, and the problem now for the front two is Ference is on fire. He's right on the back and he's just gone 4 tenths quicker than Rudy out in front. Ference 8 tenths of a second now behind Joey. I did say he had good pace and I really do well mean it. Will Murdoch there in 4th has gained obviously 4 positions off the start, and down screen, Joey has
spun! Joey has spun before turn 3. I think he might have clipped the curb at turn 2 and he's gone right down the order.
Be the outside curb. I've seen it done that before. I've done that before actually in an F2 race, and I've got caught on the outside curb, sent the car round, and then Joey obviously has to recover the car, and unfortunately for him, he's down in 13th, and there goes his possible championship hopes with it, as Will Murdoch has now spun. Both Alpines are now spun. Will Murdoch has caught the curb coming through turn number 9. I'm not sure what they've had for breakfast, lunch, or dinner here, Will Murdoch and the Alpines, but Will now behind Joey. I'm not sure if that was synchronised spinning or synchronised tactics, I don't know, but Will Murdoch certainly spun it, coming through turn number 9, got caught on the curb through turn 10, and that is why Will Murdoch is down there in P13. Rudy, though, now, as a result, is 1.7 seconds clear of Ference, who's in 2nd. It's a Haas 1-2, Dutch Missile in 3rd. Everyone else is going to follow him behind. They're not going to get the moves done, I don't think, in towards turn number 1, but Rudy leading the way, Ference in 2nd, Dutch Missile in 3rd, and this race has just gone completely and utterly messy, I think, in terms of both Alpine spinning.
Yeah, I did not see the 2 Alpines making mistakes here at a track like Zandvoort, a track very narrow. They'd probably be taking their time, but no, it's backfired, and now I don't know what happened to Alpine. Have they been food poisoned or something? Or something like that? But all honesty, this is a disaster for Alpine. They've scored an own goal in an open goal, and they've got it all to do, James.
Own goal and an open net, I'll correct you on that. Rexlig's on the back of Cortez, 8th and 9th position, the Red Bull on the back of the Mercedes. However, of course, there are the position changes. Cortez and Rexlig have now gained the most positions, 5 positions gained. Until that point, though, Will Murdoch had gained the most positions. He gained 4, but obviously he'd spun, and he's dropped 5 positions now, with Joey dropping 9. Julian, though, on the back of Dutch Missile. Dutch Missile's in a really fortunate position, I think, there in 3rd. He's got clear air in front of him, but he's got a rampaging Julian right on the back of him, and Julian, I think, the TF man, is right on the back of him, and it's going to be clean sailing to the inside line in towards turn number 1 at Tarzan. He gets it even down the straight, and Julian is through, and he's into 3rd position. Nicely done, and now he can try and think about hunting down Ference, but if he gets caught sideways out of turn 1 like that, I don't think he will chase them down anytime soon.
Probably not, but as you can see, Dutch Missile right attached to Julian like a magnet that was bought in a dollar store shop. I know that's a horrible idea, but well, if it was a dollar store shop, it probably wouldn't work. It's probably a neodymium magnet. It's the inverse. He can't get it off, can the Dutch Missile, but the Marlin has actually passed Ron Zeus, and Ron Zeus is getting passed by Trinity as well. Is there a problem for Ron Zeus?
I think he went in.
Like it.
I think he went into the gravel coming out of Skyflak at turn number 7, and I think his right tyre certainly, or the left tyres, as it was on my camera angle anyways, the left tyres, as Rexig by the way is going side by side with Joey. I think Joey's actually got that move done into 10th, a little bit forceful, but it gets the move done, and Will Murdoch right on the back of him, taps the back end and gives the Paul a bit of a love tap there as well. Dutch Missile though is probably going to have the move done on the back of Julian, but what I was saying there, yeah, I think in terms of Ron's perspective, he got caught into the gravel coming in towards Skyflak, and obviously didn't get the move done. Speaking of moves done, though, Hyper is through as Cortez is into the pit lane very early. Set of hards? Are you kidding me? What? Set of hards? Oh, it's a front wing change. That's why he's came in. Front wing change. I was wondering why he was going to just set of hards. But that is very early indeed. Funky Chicken is also into the pits, and actually he's lost his front wing entirely. So, Funky Chicken into the pit lane. I wonder if there's been a collision. We didn't see any yellow flags there, but I wonder if there's been a collision between Cortez and Funky Chicken, as Cortez actually nearly bins it coming out the pit lane.
That would have been embarrassing. I mean, David Coulthard did it once, and one of my friends. There's a car off there at Resnick at turn. I believe it's turn 7.
Yeah.
Or no, turn 7. And he's still on the gravel. He finally gets off. There's a lot of gravel there. But yeah, Will Murdoch also came in. Now, I have seen mediums go 31 laps without popping here at Zandvoort. It's hard to do, but it's doable. But knowing Will Murdoch, he could possibly do that. And Cortez has spun on hards. I don't think he's got those tyres warmed up enough. He's actually set to the track. That may be a penalty. Meanwhile, going up the front, Resnick loses another position, this time to Noof, who's now up to 10th and in the championship fight, if you discount those who have already left the league. Rudy leading by 2.5 tenths, not 2.5 tenths, 2.5 seconds more like, ahead of Ference, who's leading by 2.2 seconds, who is ahead of the two McLarens that are chasing him down, something you're probably not going to see in real life for a while, unless they up their ante.
I'm praying, honestly, we get a safety car in this race, and I'm sure the viewers will probably agree as well. Joey, by the way, side by side with Nuth coming out the pit lane. Nuth is just ahead of him, actually, and Joey on the inside line of turn 3. Oh my god, I thought it was going to go the inside and chop off his front wing there. Joey on the back of Nuth, on the run up towards Skyflack, though. We could try and get this move done. Cortez Interface is probably going to retire, I think, out of this race. Will Murdoch, though, on the back of Rex, they could try and get the move done in towards Skyflack, all over the back of the pole. The pole runs wide, and I think this is Will Murdoch's opportunity to try and loop back underneath and get the move done, but he's not quite close enough. Cortez has retired, though, coming into pit lane. So unfortunate. And, of course, he will get a penalty, we think, with that reset to track. Of course, it is illegal here in PSGL to do that. So, Cortez, I know it's really frustrating. I can understand why he did it, but then again, there's rules to be followed, and he broke one.
Yes, indeed. Please follow the rules. The reset to track rule is there to prevent something like a bug happening or an unwanted collision. I think it's happened before. I think someone's race got ended by a reset to track, and it crashed into another driver, and it was just so unfortunate that they have these rules for a reason, to prevent possible bugs or glitches that are already known. As Will Murdoch in 12th place tries to overtake a struggling Resnick. Should be plain sailing into Tarzan, and no haulers needed for Will Murdoch in Tarzan, up into 11th, and now behind his teammate who is chasing Noof, who is already pit. No, he hasn't pit, sorry, Joey was the one who pit. Should mention Noof is 18 seconds behind Hyper. Everyone down Noof, everyone below Noof except Resnick has pit for new tyres. Of course, Resnick has been on these for 7.5 laps now, so he's probably going to be doing the regular strategy as the top 7 drivers who have not pit are. That will be softs, mediums. It is a bit of a risk though, Will Murdoch trying to go in the end of these mediums. Of course, with head, it's hard to do, but it's doable. He has to be good with his tyre conservation, and knowing Will, he probably is.
Marlon into the pit lane as well, so he's actually came in before his teammate, which I was thinking Dutch Missile might come in before him, but Marlon is in. Set of mediums, he's going to be in complete clear air coming out the pit lane. He may as well have just came in next lap around, because he still would have been a mile clear compared to everyone else. Here comes Joey though on the back of Nuth. This is going to be clean sailing to the inside line. Nuth's not even going to attempt to fight that, and Joey is through, and he's into P9 out on track. Marlon is around 3.5 seconds clear coming out the pit lane, so Marlon there around, well, roughly about 3 seconds coming out the pit lane there in P8, Joey there in P9. But to react to this, of course, Joey and Nuth will have all been in the pit lane. Of course, Nuth had that turn 3 incident. He's already been in. Joey and Will Murdoch have pit in basically because they both spun and they want to get fresher tyres. And I think, as you said, 30 laps, 31 laps can easily be made in terms of the tyres. Nuth I'd be very concerned about. I think he's going 2-stop. I think he's relying on a safety car, possibly earlier on in this, later on in this race as well. The sun just beginning to glare through the clouds as well. We are already a quarter distance through the race. Really leads the way. Ference in second. Julian in third, Dutch Missile in fourth. Ron on the back though is trying to get a little bit closer, but he's not going to get moved on as Trinity comes into the pit then, and this will be for an undercut strategy on the rest of the soft runners.
Yes, it will be Trinity making an early stop, and I don't blame him. He wants to try and get up the field as much as he can. Of course, should mention Trinity in the championship. He is on 15 points, and you know he's 23 behind Will. He wants to get as much value as possible.
God,
Well,
Will Murdoch. Oh, and he spins on the curb through turn number 1. He lunged it down the inside of Nuth. He's a very lucky boy, is Will Murdoch. But he tried that down the inside line, and I think the way he went as the sun now begins to really come through the clouds now, and it's going to be blue skies before you know it. Will Murdoch, though, got caught on the inside curb of turn number 1. He took too much curb. If you take too much curb through turn 1, I've seen drivers bin it into the wall, basically where the pit lane is, and then the safety car actually proved out. Will Murdoch is very lucky there, but he should just wait in behind. Joey, obviously, Nuth is in the sandwich between them both. I think Will Murdoch should just wait, because I think there'll probably be a safety car later on this race. So why wouldn't he? Is Ferrand, I thought was coming in the pit lane there, he is not. However, Julian is, and totally Duke's Dutch Missile, and Ron is also into pit lane as well. So the Mercedes and the Red Bulls are in, and they're going to be coming out around Trinity Joey sort of area, I think, when they do come out of the pit lane, because they're right at the top of the pit lane there as well. Lap 11 though really leads the way. Ferrand's in second, Dutch Missile, and third. Oh, Trinity's nearly in the wall. Trinity, how on earth he didn't lose any front wing there? I do not believe that. I cannot. Has he lost any front wing? I can't see. He hasn't. That is unbelievable. How on earth he hasn't lost any front wing there from spinning out the final corner and nearly been inches apart coming out the wall. He's got really short tyres now. But Trinity, he probably is the luckiest driver alive, I think, at this point.
Yes, but that undercut strategy has all gone to pot now. Unfortunately, with that spin, he's lost so much time. And he will just have to go for broke pretty much now. He has to hope for a safety car. As we have 3 drivers, actually count 4 if you count Hyper, actually make 5 if you count Reshnik that have yet to pit. Top 3, of course, ones to watch, they are on the softs. And they are not going to be worried about the undercut anymore unless one of them decides to dive. And speaking of the devil, there's Ferrance. He's going to try the undercut on his own teammate.
And I think he's going to come out in traffic as well, because Marlon's coming out the final corner. The Haas pit stop is around about halfway down the pit lane. Ferrance is going to be out behind Marlon, possibly side by side with Julian, I think, coming out the pit lane. Let's find out. There is Marlon coming through turn number 1, and actually Ferrance is ahead, so just ignore what I said there. Ferrance is ahead of Marlon, just about though. It's only 0.4 of a second, so he called that to perfection. He's now got fresher tyres than Marlon ahead. He's got fresher tyres than Julian Ron, because he's pitting in as well. Murdoch, by the way, has got a move done on Nuth, coming out of turn number 1 at Tarzan. He's into 9th on the German, so Will Murdoch recovering well in this race. But Ferrance now, pretty much the lead train, he can drag along Marlon with him, and because they've got the undercut strategy on, they're going to be possibly 2nd and 3rd when Rudy, Dutch Missile, certainly Dutch Missile and Hyper come into the pit lane. I think Ferrance and Marlon are looking good for podium potentially here.
Yes, they could be. No penalties, by the way, to report off. Everyone keeping it clean, surprisingly, because Zandvoort is known for having some penalties being thrown around left, right and centre. And Rudy is into the pit. He's going to counter the undercut, and Dutch Missile is going to have to come in at the same time with him, 5.5 seconds behind. I don't think Rudy was really worried with the undercut. That means Hyper, who's yet to pit, and he's on the mediums anyway, will take the lead of the race for the meantime. But Rudy, I believe, will he keep the net lead?
Easy.
I think he will. Yes, he definitely will keep the net lead. He's coming out of the pits right now.
2.5 seconds.
All he has to do is bring it home at this point, or a safety car coming out. That would not be ideal at all. Ferrand's trying to keep Marlon at bay, and he's doing really well at it. The gap now 2.1 between him and Rudy, but it's still a provisional net Haas 1-2, James.
It is. I've got to be honest, for the viewers here at home, it's a bit of a ball, this race, to be honest. Obviously, we had all those spins early on in the race, but now everyone has pretty much made their pit stops bar Hyper, who's going to be going later on in the race anyways. It's now pretty much a stalemate, I think, in terms of any moves. What perhaps this track could bring out, obviously, is a safety car. Safety cars are very prone around here, but it all depends, really, on how good drivers are to try and close up the gaps. Ferrand especially, I know he is good. I know, for a fact, he's probably couple of tenths off Rudy's pace, maybe even same level around here, so Ferrand has got that in mind. He's 2.2 seconds behind. The Dutchman, I've got to say, has really coped well with his return, with his debut obviously here in PSGL F3. Rudy, by the way, as well, he is driving so well, and I think now the pressure is off with Izza, Cameron Dowds, Metier, as we already alluded to, leaving the league and being promoted, and Izza obviously leaving as well. But Rudy, 2.4 seconds clear. This is the old Rudy that we are seeing tonight. He is looking in a different class.
Yes, he is. Dutch Missile, by the way, in not 8th position, 7th position right now. I do believe he was running up there with Rudy and Ference, but of course 2 seconds behind, but of course now he's back to 7th. He did start in 7th, so he's pretty much a zero-sum game at this point. Noof is being down 10 positions, but I think that's because he's he's not stopped. No, he has stopped. He stopped on the 3rd lap, didn't he? Of course, he had damage, and he's down to 10th. This has not been ideal for Noof, of course, but you never know. There could be safety cars, and that could change up the game, of course. Hyper still running up there with no stop. The only driver in this race yet to stop. Of course, he'll be up 10 places, starting from 11th. He, of course, was the leader of the alternate strategy pack. He qualified 11th, and that can be an advantage sometimes. The fastest lap becomes to dwindle down, and unlike in some other leagues, the fastest lap does matter.
It does matter indeed, and yeah, obviously in terms of Rudy, at the minute, fastest lap is on for him, so I believe he will get that extra point, won't he? Because he's obviously in the top 10. So Rudy will get that extra point, and he's going to possibly further extend, you could say, his championship lead, even though Meti was still out on top. And do you know what? It could be the case where we get to the end of the season. I know there's so many races left, but we could get to the end of the season. If everybody falls by the wayside and we get different winners every single race, we could potentially see Meti win the championship with him not even completing the final 7 races of the championship. How about that?
Now, I wouldn't want to say it, but Jochen Rindt did the same thing, and unfortunately that was due to very unfortunate circumstances. Of course, he lost his life in Italy, but nobody could even catch him, so he was the world champion. But of course, it's probably the worst way to win the World Championship, in my opinion. But as we can see, not much happening at the moment. I want to sing a song or something, but the copyright holders will probably be coming at me like a ton of bricks, so I will refrain from doing so. There are a couple of 3-car groups going on, and we've got Julian Von Zeus and the Dutch Missile for 5th, and we've got Joey and Will Murdoch and Noof for 8th. What's happened? Marlon
had a snap of oversteer coming out of turn number 3. He just about stopped in terms of the throttle, rotated the car back, kept it in straight on. He's only lost a tenth of a second, but that potentially, if he kept the throttle in there, that would have been hard into the wall, safety car possibly deployed out on track. So Molon did well there, still there in 4th. Enzo, by the way, saying as well, the Haas, which I believe is Ference, crossed the pit lane line on the pit exit. Now, obviously we said 2 weeks ago about pit entries and pit exits getting covered. That I don't think necessarily the pit entries and exits get covered here in PSGL. It might be different, obviously, for Zandvoort, because Zandvoort's a totally different track. But I think it'll be more pit entries rather than pit exits, if you know what I mean. Because the pit exit is so difficult around here.
It's both. They watch both. I've seen drivers get 5-second penalties for pump faking, going to the pits, faking a pit entry. You can't do that, of course. Entering too late, of course, can't do that. And they have lost. The race has been won or lost for that. Of course, we saw in France, controversially, in my opinion, Jarno Altmaier lose the race in France, but then he went on to win 5 on the trot and counting. But that's the wrong league. We're in PlayStation even, Formula 3. If only I actually had a PC, but I have a Mac because my mum isn't nice to me. Just kidding, I love you, Mum. It's her birthday this week. I'd just like to mention personally, it's her birthday on Wednesday. Happy 51st birthday, Mum. As we see, Joey still fending off Will Murdoch and Noof. Will Murdoch has the DRS, so does Noof. But they are about 6/10 behind, so there's not really much doing there. I'm beginning to fall asleep here. Come on. I'm gonna get a poker stick and say, do something!
Potentially,
we can't force them.
Potentially there's a move going to happen. Dutch Missile's on the back of Ron, 6th and 7th position. Dutch Missile has caught this lap around. He's not going to catch him down in towards toe on this lap around. But it's now beginning to look like the sense of Dutch Missile pretty much now beginning to get onto the back of Ron. I flick onto the wrong driver there. Will, I think, is just entitled to stay behind his teammate. Obviously, they've got the constructors and the drivers to think about as well. 8th and 9th. They're expecting, I think, a safety car. Hyper, by the way, can we just talk about how well he's doing in that set of mediums? He's only lost 2 seconds over the last 4 laps. Around 5/10 a lap he's lost to Rudy. The mediums have still got very good pace around this track, and obviously when he transitions to that set of softs, say he's going to come out ahead of Trinity, which I think he will, Hyper... he's going to be on a set of softs. Just how far is he going to get, though, on that set of soft compounder tyre? He's going to be quick. Yeah. The medium, the softs are 2 seconds quicker initially on a lap around here. So Hyper, I think, if he decides to come into the pit lane, I've seen drivers go 18 laps on a set of softs, so he could well and truly come into the pit lane now. Obviously counteract all the guys behind him, and then hope, obviously, that the safety car might just bring him back into play. Hyper coming around the final corner stays out at least 1 more lap, but we should see possibly the first sign of him coming into the pit lane. Now, just thought I'd mention as well, Cortez saying possibly with a penalty. I believe Will Murdoch possibly could get a penalty as well. Remember, he was following on the back...
Ference, I think Ference and Marlon had a collision. Marlon's run into the back of Ference there.
And Marlon's in the wall.
Marlon has crashed into the wall. I think there was an instant between Ference and Marlon. He didn't catch it. It was. And Marlon lost a bit of his weight. Now, was that the case of Ference braking too early, Marlon braking too late, or a bit of both, or even a possible brake test? I don't want to accuse people of that, because that has happened before.
I think, personally, what has happened there, Ference, I don't think was anywhere near Marlon. Looking at my interval times, I'll run it back on the stream. If so, I think Ference was nowhere near Marlon. I think Marlon's possibly got caught in the inside curb at 1, hit the wall, and then I think he's lost his wing, and then obviously he's spun with the tyres into the wall out of turn 1, and obviously he's lost his front wing now. So I think that's probably the theory going on. I'll run it back on the stream and see where he was in terms of the timings.
I'm watching the stream back right now as you speak. Let's see what happened. No, it doesn't catch it. It doesn't catch it.
4/10, right, hang on. You might be right, actually. He is closing in down and towards turn 1. I'm just seeing it on the mini-map. And, I think, do you know what? I think Marlon set it down the inside line on Ference. That's why the contact's been made. Looking at that, what I've just ran back, I think Marlon has dived it down the inside of Ference. There's been no room given. And Ference there, 3rd position, 1 lucky man.
No.
I think he didn't really do anything wrong, to be honest. I didn't catch on the stream, I'll be honest. But, to me, from my perspective, and in theory, I think Marlon's tried it down the inside line.
He didn't even change direction. I think he might have. I think he just broke too late, and at the same time, Ference broke a little too early. Probably not seeing him from behind it. It's just an unfortunate moment for Marlon. He is down in 13th and has to pit and come out with fresh tyres. He's fresh tyres though. But no, 10 seconds. He's got a lot of work to do. He's a massive mountain to climb. Hyper's doing very well. I've noticed about Hyper. He's playing it slow and steady, and sometimes in this game, slow and steady wins the race. He's not throwing it around the corners, and that is very good for tyre conservation. As you see, 20 laps, he doesn't seem any sign of struggling on these tyres, so he could be pitting a little later than expected.
Oh, finally!
They're going for a run at it.
We get an overtake! Will Murdoch down the inside of Joey, gets the move done in towards turn number 1, and he set the fastest lap of the race as well on that lap, did Will, on 14 lap old mediums. He's now, and he's up to 7th, Joey there into 8th. The Alpines now declare war on each other, like Ocon and Alonso, of course, in Saudi Arabia, but Will Murdoch through, and he's into 7th, and that was a very easy move. And Enzo, by the way, in terms of saying that, no contact, apparently it was before the corner, and I looked on the mini-map, and I've got to be honest, it looked like it was down in towards turn number 1, so I might be mistaken. Enzo doesn't want to make the wrong suggestions either, which I think is fair enough, so stewards will probably look into that, but it might be just a case of, I think Marlon's just tried to dive it down the inside line, Ference has left no space, and obviously the wall's there on the inside of turn 1. That's probably what's happened.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Discord right now, and there's some expletives here, which I'm not going to even say. Noof, something saying so close, probably referring to his tyre change.
Qualifying, that is,
change. By the way, Hyper has pit.
Softs.
Probably a box standard lap 21, and he's going to do 15 laps on the soft tyres, so he's got it all to do. Can he make his way up? As Will is still ahead of Joey as we speak. Should mention the
Oh
Murdoch's
my
not
God.
happy. Oh, what happened? What happened?
Hyper's just nearly hit the wall, coming on the left-hander, the right-hander turn one at Tarzan. On the inside, he's hit the left-hand side wall, and then he's so unsure about himself, he then clipped the right-hand side wall, hasn't picked up any damage, luckily, he's just grazed the wall, I think. But on a set of softs, as I said, that pit lane exit is so tricky. He didn't run over the white line, luckily. But now, on a set of soft compounder tyres, it's going to take him 2 laps to get on that set of softs. Hyper, I think, what can he do now out on track? Because I think he's absolutely all over the place. So maybe he has got damage after all.
Oh no, don't tell me. That's just the worst case scenario. You just come out of the pits after a fantastic tyre conservation stint, and this happens. This is not normal driving. He's showing signs of struggling. Hyper, who we pretty much hyped, and he's losing a lot of time. Yeah, he's losing a lot of times. And he's got a penalty to boot. It's all going wrong as Rodzusen Dutch Missile battle on Tarzan, and the Dutch Missile does exactly what he says on the tin. Now, back to what I was going to earlier in the Discord, Murdoch is not happy with some of the drivers taking out the brake markers on the track, which are there as an aid for the driver so they know where to brake. And that's probably meaningless because I use the driver line. But anyway, yes, they're not happy with the, of course, the driver line. I do not think it's allowed in this division. And
no.
The racing line, and they took out the brake markers, and they're not happy. And Joya is not happy either with one of the Mercedes drivers taking out the brake board as well. It might be, I think it was Julian. It had to be Julian. He went on the outside and took out the brake border. Of course, we don't like seeing the brake boards going off. As we saw in Jeddah, one of them just flew off and stopped the session entirely. But yes, that's not good for the Alpines. That's what might have hindered them. And because remember, they both spun on the same lap, didn't they, James?
Yeah, they did, and that was all to do with qualifying, by the way. And Dan Spreen, by the way, as well, which I was going to say earlier on, and I totally forgot to mention it. He obviously spun on lap 1. He picked up rear wing damage, and that's why he retired into the pit lane. So it was unfortunate for Dan Spreen. He will, of course, there's better races to come from next week, obviously. He will be on the pace. Hyper, by the way, set of soft compounded tyres, it's dumbfounded. Has he actually got the pace for the set of soft compounded tyres here? Normally, I see drivers closing in a second a lap on a set of softs, maybe even a second and a half initially, and Hyper there, 6.5 seconds behind. Either he's got damage on that car from coming out the pit lane, he's just continuing on and trying to consolidate that P9, or he has legitimately not got the pace on that set of softs. Softs do come online, but mediums are probably the better tyre around here, so I'm a bit dumbfounded, to be honest, as to what Hyper's actually doing in terms of his pace, or if he's got actual damage. He would have came into pit lane, though, if there was damage.
Yeah, it would have, but I have seen some drivers stay on the track despite having horrible damage, and it's actually, yeah, he is losing time. I think he might have damage, but he doesn't want to pit because he'd probably lose out on points. He's still maintaining that 5.5 second gap to Trinity. I just don't think I think he's playing it too safe, because remember, these tyres burn out like wildfire. They burn out so fast around Zandvoort, so he's got to be careful. That's why they're all careful, and some of them pitting early, of course, one of them notably Noof, who, actually not Noof, Will Murdoch and Joey, they pit 1 lap apart. I believe Will pit on lap 7 or 6. I think it was lap 6. Yeah, lap 6, and Joey did lap 7. And they're in 7th and 6th as we speak. So, but remember, the safety car will change the game entirely. It will just throw this race out of the window and just start a new race entirely, pretty much.
Yeah, and 25 out of 36 laps have been completed, and we haven't got a safety car or a VSC yet, which is shocking, I think, for a track like Zandvoort.
Yeah.
We normally see a safety car, but in my experience, I've done 2 previous commentaries this week around here. Both times we got safety cars very late on in the race. I even got a safety car, lap 31, there's a yellow flag, and that's Lewis. As I was saying about safety cars, potentially one here, there's a safety car. And I think I've just cursed everyone, to be honest. Julian into the pit, Dutch Missile, Ron, Will, all into the pit lane. Rudy and Ferensol continued on. Dutch Missile has picked up a drive-through penalty for spinning the safety car, even though he's coming into the pits. Bit of a weird one.
That's ridiculous. Surely that's going to... I can't remove it.
He can't remove it. He has to serve it up.
It's ruined his race. I don't believe it. That's one of the worst things possible, and the two Hasses are left dumbfounded. They have to do a full rotation around the track. What? And they may have to pit.
No, Fleddy in the comments section said, James, stop it, man. I really should. I should just shut up, I think, at this point. I've cursed everyone. The safety car has came out on the track, but...
No. You haven't cursed them. They've cursed you. It's the inverse. Stop cursing us.
I was literally going about the safety car, and then Lewis lost it coming out of turn number 3. So I think Lewis there, I've commentators cursed him, and for the rest of the field, I think, and for the rest of the viewers at home, I think this is actually a really good now spot for the race. I was going to say, just to finish up that point, I always get late safety cars around here. I got one on lap 31, actually, in LOE on Saturday. Fleddy knows fine well about that. And Jazz is saying, James, mute. I think I should just mute myself. You can listen to Logan for the last 10 laps of the race. Really low leads away, Ferrens in second. They're both into the pit lane. And Ferrens obviously has to back out off the back of Rudy. So, obviously, he doesn't come into a double stack scenario. I think they'll be fine, though, because Julian's at the final corner. Ferrens will get held up here by... Oh, he's getting held up quite a lot, actually. Ferrens has been held up, I think, about 5 seconds there, coming out, and that might have cost him. Rudy there. Where is Ferrens? Ferrens has got behind Julian. Ferrens is behind Julian, and possibly behind Dutch Missile here. Let's see, coming out of turn number 1. Dutch Missile is ahead of him. Ferrens there in 4th. And that double stack, he should have backed out enough. He had enough time behind him to back out enough, and Ferrens is in 4th. I know there's penalties ahead of him, but really, you want track position. And I think Ferrens, to be honest, he's lost track position as a result of a double stack that probably shouldn't have been done.
Yeah, so this throws Julian back into the game, and he's pit for new soft, so it's game on. Rudy has... Oh yeah, Rudy has pit. I should mention they've all pit now, but of course... Rudy's actually on the fresher tyre, so Rudy just gets away with being overtaken by Julian. He's still in front, but Ferrens needs to get past Julian. I would say the Dutch Missile, but he has a drive-through penalty to serve, so Dutch Missile will be merely an obstacle at this point, not a contestant in this fight, because of course that drive-through penalty has probably ruined his race unless there's another safety car, which would be insane. Of course, in a safety car, a drive-through penalty, you're unable to work on the car, obviously. You have to go right through the pit lane, no work allowed to be done, no allowed to stop in the pits. I don't think there's stop goals employed in the game, which would have been interesting, but I think that's a bit over the top. Considering we're only doing 50% of a Grand Prix distance, 152.5 kilometres, rounded up to the nearest full amount of laps, as they make their way to do one more lap. We are waiting on Funky Chicken, Resnick and Marlon to make their way around, so we can bunch the pack up and get started again. No lapped cars to overtake, thankfully, or we don't want another kerfuffle like we did last year. We don't want to talk about that. Yes, this is the real world, and I think we've lost James. He's run into a nuclear bunker.
No, I'm just checking something, actually, because Lewis has put up a good point here. Is the safety car meant to be unreduced? That's the thing. Ferrens has actually just lost position to Ron there, and Ferrens is now back through into 4th. But is the safety car meant to be unreduced, is what Lewis is asking in the Discord. I think not, possibly. I don't know. That's what I was trying to look at. I was trying to look at the rules. There's nothing, though, saying about the safety car and what it has to be set on. So, unless we get confirmation in the chat, please, is safety car meant to be unreduced? Because if not, then this could be quite interesting.
Well, not really. We've only had one safety car, so... Now, is Marlon going to get around in time for the restart? Or is the restart going to happen in time? I think it might do. Marlon making his way around.
I don't think so.
9 and 10. Wait. You never know. It might not happen.
Might be a really late one.
It's probably going to be... we've had that before.
Here, I think.
I don't see the light. Oh, it is coming off the safety car. It is coming off the safety car. I told you it was going to happen, and it has. I remember it starting like right at the last corner in Bahrain once, but here we go again. Rudy has to keep Julian and the rest at bay as they come around the final corner. The safety car's not coming to the pits yet. It would not be a good idea to go now. But Julian's raring to go. He just wants this over with, and he's going right next to him. There's no rules against that. Just don't overtake him. Julian is putting him under the closh here, and he's had a horrible start. He's overtaking by Ferrens, and the Dutch missile pop at the same time. Ferrens going into the inside for second place, perhaps, and he is still side by side coming into the third corner and into second place.
Oh, there's contact.
Has 1-2, and Will Murdoch is. Joey and Will Murdoch, their team are possibly extending. It's going absolutely wrong.
Oh my God.
And the Dutch missile and Julian going side by side. Remember, Dutch missile has a penalty, but he doesn't care. He just wants to play around with Julian's mind. And now he's lost 2 positions. This is the worst possible start for Julian. He's lost out on 2 points, and there's another yellow flag. Trinity has spun.
Oh, Julian down the inside of Dutch missile spins as well. He's got caught on the curb, trying to force it to the inside line, and it was very aggressive between them both as well, coming through turn 3 at the banking, and Julian retires out on track. That's very disappointing from Julian. Knows best than that, surely. Julian retires out on track. Luckily, he's right next to a marshal's pole, so actually that car will be recovered, but it's not needed. You retire out on track, you just come and retire in the pit lane. There's literally 20 seconds to the end of the pits. Really leads the way. Ferrens still in second. The Dutchman, the battle of the Dutchies is now on, and actually with Dutch Missile in third, it's a 1-2-3 for the Dutchies. Really leads the way. Ferrens in second, Dutch Missile in third. Unfortunate for Julian, he just got forced on the inside line. I'm not sure if Dutch Missile just shut the door completely. Dutch Missile there in third. Ron there in fourth has been quite fortunate. Nuth, by the way, somehow fifth. Nuth is fifth after spinning. On lap 3, he was right down the back of the field, Nuth, and he's in 5th. The FER man's doing a good job. Here comes Ferrens on the back of Rudy, coming through Sky Flack at turn 7. Rudy, though, just about holds. But I've got to be honest now, Ferrens is on the back of him. He is up for this. He's got much fresher tyres. Ferrens is an absolute god in terms of his tyres strategy as well. And Ferrens there, in second, on the back of Rudy. Shouldn't pressurise him just yet. Just wait him behind. Sit tight. You've got Dutch Missile behind you, who is probably going to have a fight with Ron in the meantime. So Ferrens, I think, is just going to sit, wait tight, wait for that DRS to come. He's all in the back of him, and he's probably going to get the win.
This lap will be DRS enabled, lap 31 coming up right now. Ferrens is looking for his first win and his first race in PSGL, PSF3. What a fairy tale story that would be. It'd be like Braun GP, albeit mid-season. Maybe he could challenge the championship, who knows? And
here's Nuke to the inside line of Ron. Cuts him off in towards set number 1, and just about gets the move done, I think, in towards Tarzan. Yes, Nuke is through, he's into third. Dutch Missile, though, not really sure what happened there with him. He's into the pit lane.
He has a drive-through. He has a drive-through, remember? He has a drive-through. He has to serve the drive-through, so he's only just a mere obstacle for Julian, and Julian will not be happy, as there's what's going on here.
Ferrens was closing really quickly to the back of Rudy there, and he's got so much straight-line speed. Ferrens has got this set up, I think, more for straight line speed rather than the corners. That is going to be, though, concerning. Through the middle sector, Rudy pulls away from him. Rudy pulls away, and he's got 90% of ERS. Ferrens has only got 65% coming out of turn number 10. He's going to try and run him down in towards turn 11 and 12, but he's not close enough. And Ferrens, I think, has got to go for this early. Rudy's got so much pace in terms of his ERS. He's probably going to try and capitalise on that. Ferrens, though, in the straight lines, are so quick, and I think this is going to be proven to absolute fruition here. Coming out of the banking at the final corner, the two Hasses are better go side by side, I think, but Ferrens sits tight and waits in behind, which I think is the best thing to do. He knows he's got the pace. He knows he wants to save up that ERS. Rudy still holds on to the lead, though. Ferrens in second, and Ferrens' big problem is second sector. There's more corners than straight in the second sector. Ferrens might be in trouble around there. Rest of the track he's good, but he's got to watch out for Nuth, because Nuth's flying in behind him.
Yes, he is. 1.1 seconds. He's trying to pull a Sergio Perez, fall all the way back to the back of the grid at the start, and then still come through up the ranks to still win the race. I've seen it done before in this, and we might be seeing it again. But up to the Hasses once again. The gap now 9/10 as Will Murdoch sets the fastest lap while being outside the top 10. No points for that here on PSGL. Not in this game. Ferrens still behind Rudy. Nothing else to note of. Marlon and Funky Chicken Mark is behind Resnick still. And so is Joy, in fact. But a long way back is Trinity, who's trying to fend off the Dutch missile for that last points-paying position as they make their way one more time around the final few corners and the Ariel Dyke box for the first of the final 4 laps of the race. And Ferrens has a chance, James.
He's on the back of him down in towards turn number 1. Is he going to think about going for the move, though? On the right-hand side of the wall goes Rudy. On the left-hand side, Ference coming out of turn 1, and Ference just waiting behind. He fakes the move. Marlon dives it down the inside line. He's actually going around the outside, in fact, of Rexig. In towards turn number 2. Rexig, the pole, just about holds him off. He's there in P6, Marlon there in 7. Good fight between them both. Ference, that was so quick up the hill, coming through in towards Skyflak. He is there, 2 tenths behind Rudy. He's there for the taking, as Rudy. But Marlon is side by side with Rexig. It goes side by side into Skyflak. What a move! Marlon Thuni's into 6th. Opportunistic if I've ever seen a move. Marlon is Thuni's into 6th. Rexig now has just been completely outdone by Marlon. He had so much speed, so much deployment to use up. He got to the inside line coming through 6th. Job done, and he's Thuni's into 6th. And Marlon possibly, as I cut through it quite late, I've got to be honest there, possibly he's just proved off move of the season.
Probably move of the season. Nerves of absolute steel, stainless steel, I have to say, from Marlon. As I'd just like to point out, Will Murdoch has spun again out of Tarzan. His day has just gone from bad to worse, and top that, he's going to finish with no score today. It looks like 3 laps to go, and Ferret's still right on the back of Rudy James as Funky Chicken makes the move on Resnick, and the Dutch Spitzel gets another penalty. That will probably rule him out the points now, as Trinity should be very happy about that, as Resnick right behind Funky Chicken still, and Joey there as well. Joey wants more points added to his tally. It's all important considering the championship race. Now that the top boys are out, is that Cameron Dowd and Mechu all promoted? Well, except you, is that, sorry, I can't really say the same for you. You have been kicked out of the league. But Joey still 2 tenths behind Resnick, fighting for that extra point. For from extra jump from 2 points to 3, I think Warmodar's pulling out of the race. Is he? Yes, he is. Yeah. He's out of the race. And the gap at the top is now half a second between the Haas boys.
It is, and both actually, with Joey getting the move done actually, and Rexig down towards turn 8. Was that a dive down the inside there? I think it was, going through turn 11. And Rexig and Joey are side by side coming in towards Ari Lundijk, but Rexig just about holds the position. There is that yellow flag in sector 1 for Will Murdoch, but Joey right on the back of Rexig, coming out the final corner. Surely this is going to be job done. Joey's just going to wait and sit in behind. He is going to, though, get the move done down the pit wall, in towards turn 1, gets the job done in towards Tarzan. Joey had to wait for that, but he gets the job done cleanly, and he's through, and he's into 8th position. However, Logan, I'm concerned, as Will Murdoch's AI is right in the way. Goodness me, get out the way, for goodness sake. Ference on the back of Rudy. What I was going to say is, I'm concerned about Ference. 9% ERS running up the hill in towards Skyflak. Rudy ahead of him has got 50%. Ference has been lured into a trap here by Rudy. Rudy's got more ERS. Ference might have the pace. He might have that deployment really less than Rudy. Rudy, though, has led him to complete another trap here. So if Ference goes for the moving towards someone to, I think, Rudy will just get him back, possibly up to running towards Skyflak at turn 7.
They might, but they've got to be careful. If they play around too much and make mistakes, Noof will be there to strike while the iron's hot. So don't roll him out at all. 1 more lap to go.
Rudy's got this, I think.
Can Rudy hold Ferrets off?
Rudy's got this, even coming through Ari Lundijk at 6.5 tenths, and you're not going to close 6.5 tenths, but 6% of ERS. And Ference, I think, now just has to sit and accept defeat because Rudy leads the way onto the final lap here in the Netherlands. Ference knows he is done. He used up too much ERS. He can only rely on Rudy's mistake, I think, in front of him. But if Ference saves up the ERS this lap around, he could potentially have a chance in towards turn 11 and 12 at the chicane. So Rudy leads the way. Ference in second. However you look at it, it's going to be a Haas 1-2. Ference on the run up towards Skyflak. It's 5 tenths away. It's not going to be close enough. You can call this result from a mile off. Rudy, as long as he doesn't lose it, he's using up a lot of ERS though on this lap. Rudy and Ference has only got 5% less, so Ference has actually held this quite well, actually. As Marlon in the background on the back of Hyper potentially could be a move. 5th and 6th position, the Ferrari and the McLaren. Marlon just waiting in behind the German on the back of Hyper the Dutchman. He's there in 5th. But Rudy now coming down in towards turns 11 and 12. Ference on the back of him. Rudy, though, is just now going to back Ference into a big trap, and perhaps Nuth could get him as well. But Rudy into the final couple of corners, into Ari Lundijk. It has been a really smart drive, I've got to say, from Rudy. He is back, everyone. He's coming through the final corner. Ari Lundijk on the run to the line. He's getting caught all the way to the line, but he doesn't care. Rudy to the line wins in the Netherlands as Marlon now closes right on the back of Hyper. Gets 5th in the end, obviously with penalties. Rudy, though, wins. Ference Sterren second, Nuth in third, and I really liked how Rudy approached that last lap. It was pretty much sealed coming out of Harry Lundijk on the penultimate lap. 6/10 clear, no chance Ference was going to get that, even with his pace, even with his ERS. There was no chance he was going to get him. Rudy is back, and he's back with a bang at his home track. Funky Chicken gets awarded Driver of the Day, awarded by the in-game fans, so well done to him. But surely Driver of the Day from us has to go from Rudy, because that was a very consummate and classy performance.
Indeed it was. Rudy managed to hold his nerve and keep everyone that challenged him at bay. And he is a winner again at last here in PSGL. And I do believe that will take him up to 49 points? What are you doing? 49 points, and with the Alpine faltering, he will take the lead provisionally in this championship. Of course, we don't count Matthew and Cameron Dowds for the meantime. We probably will when we get closer to the race. But in terms of those still in the league, it is Rudy that now leads it ahead of Ference. It's a Dutch pass 1-2. There's going to be massive partying here tonight, I tell you that.
Definitely so. Rudy takes the win. Ference there in second. Drove really well on his debut. Actually had a quicker lap time than Rudy in the end. Nuth there in third. Ron in fourth. Moron there in fifth. Funky Chicken in sixth. Drove well on his debut as well. Joey in seventh. Alpine do hold on to the championship lead, with Mercedes, of course, not finishing with any of their drivers. Hyper Rex Day, Trinity ran off the top 10. Dutch Missile, Will Murdoch, Julian Lewis, Cortez and Dan Spreen all competed. Some of them DNF'd, and obviously it was towards the bottom end of the field that DNF'd as well. But hopefully we can try and get the top three in the meantime. Looking through the chat, by the way, insane pace today, says Enzo to Rudy. The guy deserved the win so hard, and seeing him win his home Grand Prix is so deserved. And I've got to be honest, as I said there in commentary, he is back. He's back with a bang, and potentially now with that open door now completely ajar, with obviously Matthew, Cameron Dowds all moving up to Formula 2 tonight. This is Rudy's championship now, possibly to lose, because he is quicker than Will Murdoch and Joey, and he's just shown it here tonight.
Yes, he has shown it here tonight. I'm having a bit of a connection problem. Hold on.
At least it's at the end of the race.
Yes, at least it's at the end of the race. But yes, it does look like that Rudy could be the man to beat going into the final 6 rounds of the season. I should mention, what's the next round of the season?
Next round of the season is... I need to get up the calendar just to double check, because I didn't even know myself. It is Brazil! Brazil next week. Oh, that's going to be an interesting one in Interlagos. That should be a really good race, and hopefully some really good action as well. And the same amount of laps actually than the Netherlands.
Yes, it is. In fact, 36 laps we do here. In the real life, it's actually different. It's 71 for Interlagos and 72 for Zandvoort. Are we going to get some interviews?
Yes, I thought you were going to invite them in.
I have to ask first.
I'll invite them in. It's absolutely fine. I'll go blue screen for a second so they can hear.
I forgot that I have to invite them in.
No, it's fine. I'll just invite them in. It's absolutely fine. I'll just go blue screen for a second and they can just hear my voice. But what a race, of course, that was here in the Netherlands. Of course, brilliant win by Rudy, taking that race win, and obviously now extending, or actually for the first time, I think, in the championship, taking the championship lead, with obviously Metsu and the likes leaving, so hopefully that might, I think they'll probably stay in place in terms of the championship there. Who finished second again? It was Ference, wasn't it? I think it was Ference. I hope I've got his PSN right. I hope I have. Give me a second, I just need to check his PSN, which is typical, because he's already left. He might go early though, because I know he's got probably school in the morning, so that is probably why he might leave before the interviews actually go. And I've got his PSN completely wrong, so another wonder I couldn't find it. Give me a second, I've got it now. I've got it, and obviously Rudy, he's already on my friends list, so he can be invited in as well. Apologies that I have to do this manually. There is a little trick that I normally do and go on the PSN app, but yeah, it doesn't work and it creates a new party for some reason. But there we are, the top 3 have been invited now.
Enzo, this isn't my debut. I've been here since the start of the season. I've missed a couple of weeks due to work commitments. I do work at a shop. I'm not going to say what shop I work at, but that's all I'm going to say. I work in the afternoons, so I can't really do some of the days because I work in the afternoons. But yes, Ferenc can't do it. His headset's actually broken. It probably be at the fact that Rudy was running away from him.
No, Ferenc normally. I've had experience of commentating and interviewing him before, and Ferenc normally has school in the morning, so I thought it might have been that. So I'm not surprised if that is the case. But brilliant drive, obviously, from Rudy. Hopefully we can get at least 2 of the top 3 in. Nuth has joined the party here, of course, finishing there in 3rd. Hopefully Rudy will be able to join us as well. And, of course, that was a fantastic race. Obviously, Logan, though, going into Brazil next week, what do the drivers have to look forward to? Because Brazil, for me, is a bit like Nutella. You either love it or you hate it. I think for action, for commentary, and for the viewing, it's absolutely brilliant. Drivers, though, tend to don't like it.
Everyone loves Brazil. What are you talking about? Samba dancers at the carnival, football, or football, as they say in Portuguese. You know, but no, Interlagos, a track that's been around pretty much since Formula 1 began. Well, not in Formula 1, obviously, because, you know, travel was different back then. Yes, it used to be an 8-kilometre layout was Interlagos, but now it has been cut in half to 4 kilometres, of course, to make it more action-packed and fun. There you go.
Indeed it does, and obviously Brazil, 2012, probably the best memory from Sebastian Vettel spinning out, of course, and still winning the championship as a result of that as well, where he got spun by, I think it was a very rogue Williams of Pastor Maldonado, if I'm not mistaken, he got spun by as well. However, we can speak to the man who finished in P1, of course it is Rudy. He hasn't got much time, so we'll try and fly through the interview here. Rudy, though, you are back, my friend, in PSGL F3, you take the race win. How was it for you? Because that just seemed very classy.
Yeah. I haven't been the luckiest one this season so far, so to finally win second race win of the season, really nice, especially at this track. I literally did my PB by 2/10 in qualifying, so I don't know where that lap came from, but Nuth got close at the end. But yeah, I managed to get a gap at the start. And then I realized it didn't have enough fuel, so there was a point where I was just lifting and coasting, yeah, because I had the gap to do that, and I was still able to manage the gap behind to Ferenc, so yeah, I was pretty confident, and then the safety car came out, which could have ruined my race, but yeah, I just had enough pace to get far enough ahead of Ferenc to be able to keep him behind, so yeah, I won the race, and yeah, it's good to see Nuth on the podium as well, especially after his bad luck. We've both had a lot of bad luck so far, and yeah, I think he had some at the start of the race again. So yeah, GG to him as well on the podium, because yeah, after lap 1 didn't look likely.
Yeah, bad luck has now gone completely astray now. You can forget about the bad luck. You are back now, of course. I believe, obviously, with Matthew and Cameron Dowds and Izza both all leaving the championship, you actually, theoretically, are in the championship lead now ahead of Joey and Will Murdoch. So that must be quite good, obviously, for your ambitions going further on in the season.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, only the aim is just to win the championship. That's the only aim. So, yeah, now I'm leading. Finally, that second race win under my belt. Took some time, but yeah, this feels amazing, and yeah, it only motivates me more to get better throughout the season and hopefully win a championship.
Yeah, definitely. So I know you haven't got almost not enough time, so I will ask you this final question quickly. Of course, it's Brazil next week. How do you think you're going to get on?
It's not one of my best tracks, so yeah, it's going to be damage limitation. Maybe some other people struggle as well, so. Yeah, I'm going for P1, of course, but it's going to be difficult. So, yeah, it's not one of my best tracks.
Not one of your best tracks, but I'm sure you'll still excel out on track anyways. Go and enjoy your evening, though, Rudy.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for coming today.
Rudy.
Very welcome indeed, and Logan, of course, saying thank you to there as well. We'll now move on to the man, of course, who finished in P3 in the end, in Nuth. And Nuth, just, I said it a couple of laps before the end of the commentary there. How on earth have you finished in 3rd after that race?
Man, I have no idea. Absolutely not. Like, I might have went a place back, but it's still probably the best race of the season for me. It was a sweat fest. It was really exhausting. Not gonna lie.
Really exhausting, a bit of a sweat fest. But obviously, what happened on lap 3? Because you spun, I think, on lap 3, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously, you came into the pit lane. I was convinced that you were going to get a safety car towards the end of the race. You got that safety car. That, I think, helped you in terms of your race completely.
Yeah, it was. Sorry. It was lap 1, actually. I got damage in turn 2, I think. Had a slight collision with Joey, which luckily only damaged my car and not his, because it was 100% my fault. And then, yeah, it was pretty much just the typical PSGL race for me, because I was super happy with my quali lap. Like, really pretty much said this lap was absolutely insane, and then I pretty much drove the best lap of my season so far, and nearly got it together. But yeah, really happy with my quali lap. And then obviously wing damage on lap 1 wasn't ideal, and pretty much for the whole medium stint I was just trying to stay with Joey and Will, who were both on fresher mediums. And yeah, it pretty much felt like 25 laps of qualifying, because it was really difficult to stay with these guys who obviously were on the better tires. And then luckily that safety car really saved my race, and obviously I had a bit of luck too with other people getting undeserved penalties and stuff like that. So yeah, a bit of luck, but also I'm just really happy with my performance today.
Yeah, capitalising, I think, on everyone else's mistakes, obviously, ahead of you, especially towards the end of the race there. Really good racing from your perspective, though. Logan, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, that was a fantastic run up the field, and I probably couldn't have done that myself. I know a safety car, of course, is always going to come to an assist, but the way you conserved your tyres was fantastic, I'd have to say. I think the safety car probably came at the right time as well, so that to boot pretty much summed up your comeback. But of course, you've got to do it on merit. You charged right through the field, and you got the work done, so I've got to say very well done in that. You know, with what's his name, Matthew, Cameron Dowd, and Izat, do you think that's blown the championship pretty much more wide open? And what are your goals heading into this final half of the season?
Well, now that the absolute sweats are gone, I'm definitely looking forward to gaining a few more positions. Pretty much my goal for the rest of the season is to catch Matthew's point tally, which actually won't be too easy because he has a lot of points.
Oh yes.
Still, and yeah, that's gonna be a challenge. But if I manage that, then I'm pretty much in a really good position, and definitely way further up than I would have expected at the start of the season. So if I can get top 5 or maybe even top 3 at the end of the season, then I'm really happy.
Well, I've got to say, very well done. I don't think I was expecting that run up the order. I think we were neglecting you a bit, and all apology about that, but I think we were neglecting you. And then James said at one point, Noof is somehow in 5th during the safety car, and I thought, oh, Noof! Where has he been? He was out of this world a few minutes ago, and now he's here.
Safety car came absolutely perfect.
Yeah, the same thing happened to Perez in Sakir 2020.
Yeah.
Except he won the race, but it's still probably a win in your book, considering how far ahead the Haas's were.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know Rui had absolutely insane pace today, like he pretty much always had. Like he said, he has a lot of bad luck so far in the season.
Yeah.
But I think he showed with the quali lap and also his race pace that he's probably the best driver in the grid at the moment. So
yeah,
he's definitely the guy to beat at the moment, in my opinion at least.
He's probably the guy everyone will keep an eye on because he is absolutely furious around the track. He throws it round like it's like his own plaything round at qualifying, and even during the race, his pace is insane. And to see that from him pretty much does intimidate the other drivers. So motivates them to get their game on though. So of course, Still a lot of fighting to be done. 6 rounds to go in the season. Next, we're going to Brazil. How do you feel about Brazil?
Can be okay. It's definitely not one of my best tracks, and obviously more of a pet track. But yeah, I'm actually kind of looking forward to it because, well, the Netherlands or like Zandvoort isn't the best track for wheel drivers either. So, and I had a good day today. So if I can repeat that in Brazil, then yeah, I will be really happy and.
I think that's pretty much it. I think from Nude there, I'm not sure if he is he's been disconnected or something there. He was just speaking and then it just cut off. But Nude, go and enjoy Ethan. I think he's still.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
What were you saying? Go on.
Basically just that I'm looking forward to Brazil, even though it's not my best track.
Hopefully you'll get a good result out of that though, regardless. But go and enjoy Ethan. I'm saying go and enjoy Ethan.
Can you make an order?
It's like we're connecting through an old 1940s telephone line, I think, there with Nude. But there we are. That is the end of the interview, though. Big thank you, of course, to Nude and to Rudy for joining us in the interviews. And, of course, this race, we forgot to mention it, was sponsored by Grid Rival, of course, the F1 fantasy app, where obviously the F1 League is getting held on. Totally, because I was so invested in the race here tonight that I totally forgot to mention it. And the race, of course, was sponsored by Grid Rival, the new Formula 1 fantasy game that has unmatched research tools, simple team management, and a new contract system with detailed performance data and loads of engaging social features as well. And you can head over and join the PSGL League on Grid Rival by using the affiliate link in the description below. See? At least we got it at the end of the stream and I didn't forget about it entirely.
Yeah, I think it was for the best, though. I probably would have been like, here we go, the start of the race, brought to you by Grid Rival. It's lights out, away we go, brought to you by Grid Rival. It's the final lap, brought to you by Grid Rival. I think they probably would have sacked me for that, but thankfully I didn't, because you didn't see it at all. Thank you. Please do it next time.
Our guidance, by the way, is to mention it 3 times on the stream, and Logan's just mentioned it 3 times there, plus my 1 time, so there we go. We've got it covered completely. That is the end, of course, for PSGL F3 here tonight. Big thank you, of course, to Logan for joining me in the commentary box. Before we head offline, though, Logan, who on earth is your driver of the day?
Can we give it to Noof, please?
Can do.
After all that happened, can we? Yeah, I have every right to.
You've got every right to. I've got every right to as well. Yeah, I think Noof drove a really astute second half of that race. Obviously got back into it, and recovery drive of, I wouldn't say the season, but certainly recovery drive of this race entirely. So Noof, yeah, you get driver of the day from us, which is fantastic as well. And that rounds us off, of course, tonight for PSGL F3. If you do want to go in on PSGL F1, by the way, if I can actually find the stream, that'll be very helpful. PSGL F1 is live. I can promise you it, because I can't see it somehow on my subscriptions. Give me a second, I'll tell you what's happening in PSGL F1. Currently, as I've got a grid, I've got an F1 Clash advertisement coming up. And Matthew Allround on top, Asikomi in second, Ardapple Gamer in third, and they've actually just got towards the end of qualifying, so qualifying is still going on. There must have been some sort of glitch, or they just started a little bit late for a couple of drivers. Matthew Allround leading the way, Asikomi in second, Ardapple Gamer in third. The end of qualifying is upon us, and it's around 2.5 minutes ago, and I believe, looking at the conditions on the track, I think it's been raining out on track and qualifying there as well.
Yeah, I think it is. As I rudely eat a polo mint while watching.
I think what we'll do, though, is end it off here, because obviously everyone wants to go and watch F1. I know I certainly want to go watch F1 as well. As I say, Matthew Ward, Asikomi, and Ardapple Gamer currently the top 3. More action to come through PSGL on the week, of course. The first races for Brazil are going to be happening on Wednesday. PSGL PC F1, of course, is the absolute go-to. Can Yano up me and make it 6 in a row? We have to wait and see. Ginger Annie, I believe, is back in the commentary box alongside Daniel Field. Of course, George Morgan filled in from last week. Hopefully, it is going to be some really good action out on track there. And of course, all the PS40s are going to be happening Thursday, Sunday, and Monday, I believe, as well, which is top notch, and hopefully some really good racing to come from them as well. We're waffling on. We're going to end the stream here. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
Good night.